You've probably seen these towers hundreds of times. Tall metal structures covered in red and white stripes standing above cities, forests, and highways. But have you ever wondered, why those colors? Why not blue, black, or gray? The answer has almost nothing to do with decoration. It's about making sure aircraft can see these towers before they become a serious hazard. And the reason behind those colors is more interesting than you might think. To understand why radio towers are usually painted red and white, we first have to look at the problem created by tall structures. Before modern aviation became common, a tower could simply be tall. But once aircraft filled the skies, things changed. A structure that was easy to see from the ground could be surprisingly difficult to spot from the air. Imagine flying toward a thin tower against a bright sky. From several kilometers away, it might look like almost nothing. And when an aircraft is moving quickly, there isn't much time to react. So aviation authorities needed a simple solution, something that would make tall structures stand out automatically. And that's where the colors come in. Here are the 5 surprising reasons why radio towers are usually painted red and white. Firstly, aviation law compliance. The first reason is simple: aviation safety. Tall structures can be subject to aviation obstruction marking requirements depending on their height, location, and surroundings. In the United States, for example, the FAA has standards for marking and lighting structures that could be hazardous to aircraft. And here's a detail you might not know. That bright red color is often technically called international orange, a highly visible orange-red shade used for marking hazards and obstructions. So those stripes aren't simply a design choice. They're part of a larger system designed to tell pilots there is something very tall here. But following the rules isn't the only reason for those colors. This brings us to the second reason: visibility to aircraft. Think about what a pilot might see during the day: a blue sky, white clouds, hazy weather, or a gray background. A single-colored tower could blend into its surroundings, but alternating red and white sections create strong visual contrast. Instead of seeing a thin metal structure, you see a large, distinctive pattern: red, white, red, white. That makes the tower easier to recognize from a greater distance. But the tower isn't only meant to be visible to aircraft. Thirdly, maximum ground visibility. From the ground, a radio tower might be surrounded by green trees, brown hills, gray buildings, or a hazy skyline. The bright red and white pattern creates strong contrast against these backgrounds. So although aviation safety is the main concern, the same design also makes the tower easier to see from the ground. Think of it like a bright safety vest. The vest doesn't make you safer by itself. It simply makes you easier to notice. And sometimes that's exactly what prevents an accident. Another reason: daytime energy savings. Here's a clever part. During daylight, the paint itself provides the warning. There is no need to continuously power bright lights just to make the tower visible. But when the sun goes down, paint becomes much less effective. That's when obstruction lighting takes over. Paint provides visibility during the day. Lights provide visibility at night. Together, they create a warning system that works all the clock without relying on powerful lighting during daylight. And finally, red signals danger. There's a reason you see similar red colors around hazards. Think about traffic stop signs, fire trucks, fire extinguishers, and safety gear. These colors are strongly associated with warning and obstruction. Red is highly conspicuous, especially when contrasted with white. So when you see that pattern on a massive tower, your brain doesn't need a written warning. It simply recognizes something is here. And that's the clever part. The tower doesn't need to explain what the danger is. It just needs to make sure you notice the obstacle. So why are radio towers usually painted red and white? Because they're not really being painted for the people underneath them. They're being painted for the people above them. The colors help tall structures stand out during daylight, comply with applicable aviation marking requirements, improve visibility from the ground, and work alongside warning lights after dark. And that reveals something fascinating about good design.
Sometimes the smartest safety feature isn't complicated technology, it's simply making something impossible to miss. So the next time you see a giant red and white tower, don't just see a tower, you're looking at a carefully designed warning system hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden story behind everyday technology, hit like and subscribe to Tech Inside Stories, where we break down surprising tech stories, everyday mysteries, and the questions you've always wondered about in a clear, simple way. See you on the next one.